guys, how's it going, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, or this series, we are going to be looking at Tamyia's LRDG Command Vehicle. This is for the North Africa campaign. I'm going to make a full I'm going to make a diorama out of this one because it's quite an interesting kit. What took me with it is it comes with 7 figures, basically digging out, the tyre's got, stuck in or sunk into some soft sand. So I'm going to try and recreate this. I know it's not a new diorama because loads of other people have done it, but it's still going to be quite cool. It's going to be quite a cool little project. So what we're going to be looking at is obviously the build in this video, particularly is the build of the main vehicle itself. Other episodes are going to have builds on the figures, and obviously the diorama itself. Now in this video, it says we're going to be looking at the build. We've also got brass upgrades from Eduard, which has really made the model pop a little bit more. There's quite a lot of fiddly little bits in there, but again, it makes it look really cool. And so it just makes it pop a little bit more, makes it a little bit more. I know it's a 3D model anyway, but it just really does bring it out. We'll get into it. Since we'll be showing you the build and those brass parts, so let's get into it. So of course, starting with the subframe, which generally is quite one part, so it just makes things a lot easier and quicker. It's quite good, but as you can see there was a bit of a seam line which does need removing, because I do think that's possibly seen later on. After sanding that, I used a bit of Tamyia extra thin just to clear that up. But generally this part is quite quick and easy. Wheel assembly also is quick and simple to do. What is quite nice is the fact that you actually get proper rubber tyres. These quite simply slip over the hub, but there is a seam line that runs through them, and I actually found, I'm not even sure quite why I tried this, but I thought I'd try it anyway, is I actually just used Tamyia extra thin to get rid of it. It took a bit of going, but just put a bit of glue on, and then with the sort of the harder part of the brush, just really rub at it, and it disappeared. I was actually quite surprised. I don't know why I quite thought of trying it, but you never know until you do. But as you can see there, you can't see it. So I was quite chuffed with that. Also, what I quite found nice was the fact that you could actually position the wheels offset if you liked, which I have decided to do to make things just a little bit more interesting than just having straightforward facing wheels. But as you can see, it's quite simple, but at the same time is a little bit fiddly. Also later on to put the crossbar in there, which helps move the tyres in sync together. They were quite easily put on, but I did find for some reason that the suspension was towed in slightly. I don't think that is accurate, but for some reason that was a thing. So there we go. But putting both axles in, and then the drive axle there, really simple and easy to do. So also, I do hope you like this Arabian music. I thought it'd be quite apt for the series, so you'll be hearing this throughout. So here comes the start of the brass parts. There's like a little vent that's got an option of either having closed or open. I decided to have it open, which means cutting out the original vent, sanding some of it down. Again, using Tamyia's extra thin to clear out any sort of dirt. dust even. Brass parts I always find is a lot easier if you cut them onto a fairly hard surface rather than using a cutting mat. This eliminates any bending of the brass when you try and cut them off their sprues. And of course, fitting these brass parts together, the only thing that's really going to stick them down is a dab of super glue. In the case of this one, I'm actually using Loctite. I think that's Loctite even, get that right. 60-second glue, which gives you a little bit of time to play around putting these parts together, rather than just as soon as you put the glue on and it's almost set straight away. So this does give you ample time, you know, to put parts together. Now the upgrade kit comes with some dials for like the speedometer and fuel and all that. It's quite a clear part. This bit will come up and you'll see in a second. So based it with some black primer and some Vallejo white just to make those stick out. But there you go, you can see it's quite clear. So I thought putting the white, which is probably more accurate anyway, and obviously make that stand out. Also gluing this down with a bit of that super glue. As well as a glove box, it also comes with some windows. These are two brass frames with a bit of clear acetate which are sandwiched together. I only used one of these in the end, which you'll see later on. Also comes with the housing for these jerry cans, and also some new handles to go on the top. So all these need scrubbing out. Now for the container part that it comes in, having one of these bend tools helps quite a lot. You can actually make your own using sort of old razor blades and a couple of washers and a chunk of wood. If you source the internet, particularly on YouTube, you will find DIY ones of these to make, and quite a good tutorials, get your words out mate, to make these. And then all we need to do again, dab of super glue and put those jerrys in. As it says, it comes with the handles. These are quite delicate and small parts, so preferably a pair of pliers will be a lot easier to bend these into position. Now originally there'd be an opening at the bottom for the these jerry cans to go on to the frame there, which obviously needs scrubbing out. So sort of something like a little chisel, or even just your hobby blade to scrub that off, and then glue the upgrade parts into place. We also have brakes, accelerator and a clutch to go in. So again, scrubbing out those, we used the Dremel, which obviously made it a lot easier to take them parts out, and again a bit of Tamyia to clear out that excess plastic. Admittedly, these were very fiddly to put into place. It took me quite a while, so yeah, we'll skip this bit. So there you go, if by magic they're in place. So on the front fenders comes these packs with some brackets. Now these are actually okay as part of the kit if you don't get the upgrades, but as you can see, the upgrade parts do make this stick out a little bit more, and a bit more detail there. So I use one of the old frames to help me bend this into the right profile, and using the back end of a paintbrush to roughly get in the same diameter to get the right shape. Of course, you put the main brackets down first, and then again a bit of super glue to mount those the main part of the bracket on. Also comes with some straps which are exceedingly long for some reason. So I decided to make my own packs because the ones that went in didn't quite sit very well or fit in there well at all. So what I did was, I've used this before, a baby wipe. It's quite simple. It gives you a bit more texture, especially if you're going to use this for stuff like you know, sort of blankets or you know, rolls of tent or whatever. Quite simply cut it to sort of the length that you want, preferably dry a bit. I did do this wet, so you didn't want to cut very well, but yeah, so it's just cut it to roughly the right size or the size that you want. It doesn't really matter. I have actually done this one to the right length. I did do one that was slightly over, and then just rolled it up. This one I just sort of just folded and placed in. Now, as I said, these are quite long straps, so I thought I'll put an extra piece in. This one I rolled up and used a bit of cotton as a bit of a tie down, if you like, which also gives a nice bit of shape to that. Also, these work quite the same as a buckle, so just thread them through and then super glue them into place. We've also got brackets for the rifles in the back there. Now, with a lot of brass parts, sometimes these are straight up replacement and quite easy, but in the case of this, if you're using a kit rifle, you're going to have to remove the original bracket from the weapon. Now, I've put everything into place just to show you as it should look like when it's all complete. I've left these unglued. One, I wanted to paint the seat completely separate anyway. The steering wheel, because there's a figure to go in there, and it's just going to be a lot easier to place that in with the figure rather than separate. But as you can see, that's what it should look like, all complete, nice and tidy. So now we move on to the rear of the bed. There's quite a few ejection mold pins that need to be filled in, because these are going to be quite visible in the back of the vehicle. So using Tamyia putty and a bit of sandpaper just to clear those out and straight on. See more brass parts. Again, these were almost full replacement parts, so there's not much prattling around. For the aerial, there wasn't a sort of mount for it, so I just lathed one out of a cocktail stick. As you can see there, just a bit of wire there with a bit of super glue on the end, and it looks pretty good. Also have some storage there. You've got the choice of having them open or closed. Obviously one of each there, just a bit of diversity if you like. So next we've got the tie down hooks. I did a few of these a little bit bent and out of shape, as these things are generally quite delicate. Stick them all into place, replacing other parts, but I did find that I put them upside down, that to redo them. But as you can see, that's how it should all look like all together. So it's not glued because I still need to paint it, but I just wanted to give you the idea of the whole thing complete. So there you go, guys, that's it all built. As you can see, those brass parts were quite fiddly, but as it really, you know, brings out the model just that little bit more. I mean, to be fair, the kit itself is pretty well made anyway. It's really nicely detailed, so you don't really need those upgrades at all, really. But you know, I like to make things a lot more harder for myself. But so In the next episode, we'll be looking at painting the model and a few weathering techniques, hopefully within this one. I'm not sure how we're going to do the next step. Haven't quite got that far yet. But yeah, we'll be definitely looking at painting it, and I've got a bit in my head on how I want to be doing this. So stay tuned. Click that notification bell, which will obviously tell you when the next video comes up. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm not drunk yet, it's too early. I don't drink. What am I on about? But again, thanks very much guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you again soon.